a strange one that, these subjects normally don't get spoken about in the awakening, in consciousness, but there's nothing separate, which is interesting. So this is all part of the human story, or the human game, I should say, the Maya, the dance. But interesting. So there's been observations here, and you can see when you wake up, even when you actually, there's so many different levels, as you'll know, you can swing. So you'll see just in this game how it swings from one polarity to another. In the dance, the human story, it goes from let's say positive polarity to the negative polarity. It swings like this way to that way, from busy to not busy, whatever. It goes up and down, depends on how extreme. So the same thing in the human story. But also you'll see that the consciousness also shifts. You'll do a lot of healing, those that are waking up. You'll do a lot of healing on worth, on value, because the programs, it's all programs that were inherited on the earth, in the human avatar, the story that's programmed here. That you weren't worthy, bad, money's evil, this and that, and you see it now. So you're seeing this swing. Many, many things are observed. It's fascinating, actually. So I'm going to share some observations that have been seen here, which is really interesting. So we also got to be aware that we don't swing to the opposite polarity, because obviously it's an imbalance. The system at the moment is just not balanced. It isn't fair, it isn't equal, and it's not in harmony at all. That's why there's a lot of conflict on the planet. It's not in harmony. The financial system is not in harmony with anything. It's not fair. There's, as I say, there's two-tier system going on here. One rule for us, one rule for them, kind of thing. That's been going on a long time. The rulers. It goes back to the rulers and the kings. You see, what's good for us is not good for them. You know what I mean? It's like feed them cake kind of thing. So you can see this. It's just patterns. You're aware. If you become aware of the patterns, you also become aware of the human patterns, human programs. Because you're not only clearing from, when you realize the mind space, you'll see all the patterns and programs that your avatar contains. You'll just watch them, it goes off, That's part of your awakening, your shadow work. You all know, you go through all these things and you watch them, you watch these things rise up, and oh my gosh, okay, that was my mother, all this nonsense. So there's also a movement here. There's an awareness, obviously, because of consciousness, that the system is definitely not rigged. It's, as you say, it's always been, one rule for us and one rule for them, this tier system, there's no harmony, there's no balance. It's not what suits all. It's not what's good for all. It's the peasants and us kind of thing. So you can see that awareness, and it's not this. That will rise naturally, and its unfairness. There'll be a shift not to do that, because there's that separation. It will fall away. But people also got to be careful. That most people will be unawakened yet, because they haven't. So they'll see that, they still have the program that money's evil or money's bad. There's nothing evil or bad here, because everything is the source. Everything. There's no separation. That also, it's all part of it. So as you realize, okay, money's not separate from you, nothing is separate from you, it's appearing in you. You're manifesting this out of thin air. As you realize nothing's physical, nothing's real, it all just comes with the game. So you see this movement now. You've got to be careful we don't swing. Money is not a problem. So there's a movement, yes, towards this unfairness, this two-tier system. Laws, also, if you have money, that you have different laws will affect you because you can afford it. So this is where the problem lies. It's not in the money itself. It's the system. That this doesn't apply to you. If you can pay your way out of it or hire a good lawyer. You see, there's what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. This is actually the only issue with the one, because it's, it is still the one, is the fairness, is balance, is harmony. There's nothing wrong with the money itself. So where people got to be, where you see this arising, just to be aware that there's nothing wrong with billionaires and millionaires. There's nothing wrong with wealth. You'll realize that because it's manifest. You're just being alive. It's just worthy. You're not separate from it, you see. It's such a funny subject to talk about, because you realize there's nothing separate anyway. You're chasing, there's nothing to chase. So things will also shift when there's no separation, because you'll see nothing's real here. so, and you're not real, so you're not the person. So there's that need and wanting, that looking outwards, that grabbing and grasping also, falls away. But the desire, if you want, to have a good life or good something, is nothing wrong with that. So there's just a observation here that we must be aware that we can't say wealth is a problem, billionaires or millionaires. There's nothing wrong with the wealth. It's the system that is a problem. Not all are going to want wealth. I'll be quite happy without it. Most will actually, when they wake up and realize there's no people, no real money, and nothing's real, it's just you, it's an imagined story. Kind of loses it, you'll see. It loses its, thing. But the desire, if you want to do something with it, it won't be a problem. So we've got to also identify that we don't swing. See, there's an imbalance again, out of harmony. That there is no issue with money. The only issue we have at the moment is the system itself, the way it's set up, and the value, because nothing has real value. You are thumb-sucking it. And if you look at the current human story, it's fascinating if you observe it. You will see that because they believe they're real people, everything's real, it's like, and the system, the way it's set up, that if they don't have it, they suffer, you see. So it's, anyway, that will all go, all of that nonsense, that is the system. The system is it shouldn't be there to oppress and hold others and that whole story it is wrong. There's nothing wrong with the actual money there, you see. It's the way it's set up, the way it's manipulated and everything else, and the differences in the currencies and all that sort of thing. That is the problem. But it will all be highlighted because the shadow, all that stuff will come out, which is already, you see people already saying, no, we're not into the system anymore, the way it's, the way it's designed and, what's good for the goose. So that's naturally coming up. But you can just see it because unawakened, when you're unawakened, yes, you believe it was real and money and, the whole thing. You're not even aware of how this reality works, and yet you are creating it and no. We all know that. So you can just see that humans, everything has a value. Watch, especially because it's, that's how I say it's interesting. Everything has a value. They put a value, they find this, it's completely thumbsucked. That's what I'm saying. You've got to understand that everything out there is imagined. Money itself has no real value. Gold, who decided what the value of gold was? Made up. Everything is absolutely made up. Imagined, fictional. The value of money, the value of gold, and the value of the currency is all completely thumbsucked. There is no actual inherent worth to anything. It's all imagined. Everything. There's no one here that was here. I mean, originally, they dug up a hole. You didn't even know what gold was. You had no use for gold. And you couldn't eat it, back then when you were running around as a hunter-gatherer. So everything is completely imagined. So it can be reimagined, as you see. There was a young man I shared here who proves you're very capable of inventing a system that benefits everyone and actually pays them. Doesn't also use all the electricity. You see, there's a young man, because you're not tech savvy, but there's a lot, you see. They're just on a higher frequency, so they can access that information. Whereas those still in the old system still believe, I find it fascinating that you have to have gold backed. It's got to be gold backed. You see, because that's all you know. Well, that's the only thing that's got worth because we say so, but I'm saying, so you have to have a currency that's backed by something. Why? You see, it's completely thumbsucked. We don't need gold or anything behind the so-called money. It's like Monopoly. It's all imagined nonsense. It doesn't have to have money or gold behind it. This whole thing that we have to have, here's the thing, do away with all these forex, because that is already causing a problem. You see, when you've got different countries, the money's worth is different money and has a different value in different countries. This is where your conflict comes in. It's linked to a lot of problems, huge problems. Immigration problems, because they want to come to your country because they can't, their country, they can't, the money's worth nothing. So they go work there. I can earn 10 times more money if I go and work in your country. So this is why people want to immigrate and come to other people's countries, because they can work there and earn 6 times. I mean, it's 20 times what they, can earn back home. Then you also have companies moving their businesses and their money to countries where they can get cheap labor, you see. So when we which we will, it'll come away. This system of suppressing other countries so we can extract it also will stop economic wars, period. When you don't have separate currencies, separate forex, where you can manipulate, and there's no need then wanting to move your company or have something made there because it's cheaper, you see, because you keep their currency. Some sucked. All of it's imagined. Your currency should be this and it should be valued at that because, whatever. Because we've extracted all your gold. So this whole thing, having even gold behind our money, is completely imaginary. Secondly, as we wake up, we realize no, because we're just mining more. You see, same thing. You're just going to dig holes. When you realize nothing is separate, you are not separate from Mother Earth. She is not separate from you. You're not going to harm yourself. So there's the whole thing of mining will come to a halt, because you're not going to want to dig up the earth to have this imaginary value of gold behind your money. For what? Why do we need to keep mining? You see, then we're having more now. Now we can exactly in other people's countries, exploiting labor and mines and illegal gold and all this nonsense. I mean, just creating more problems. This is unconscious behavior, but we'll see. So, illusionary value. We don't need it. It has other better properties. Gold has much better for healing and other things than it is for sitting in a bloody bank, behind some piece of paper. So this idea of hoarding gold, which is great, far better use and value, and digging more holes and mining up and collapsing earth. I mean, so we have something in a vault, because and it's because we say it's got so much value behind. I mean, it's completely, actually, nonsensical. When you really use logic, you realize, actually, it's unnecessary to go and dig holes and mine. It's nonsensical and it's useless sitting in a vault where it has much better properties. We can use it for healing, other things. It's thumb-sucked like diamonds. They galore, they are a dime a dozen. All of these false. You see the same thing. So I think that I don't see that going forward, because we do not need something solid, because that's what I say. It's just an old way of thinking. You see, if you're in a program, that's all you know. We had a gold back. It's got to be gold. You've got to have gold behind this, because why? As I say, look at this. I mean, I was dumbfounded when you heard this young man come up with this whole thing of a blockchain and how it will pay you, the planet, to live on it. And you're thinking, yep, there we are, bingo, higher consciousness. It is very easy to make an economic system that benefits everyone. Just to live here. It pays you to live on it. It's equal. So those that want to make wealth will make wealth or do it anyway, just do things for the sake of it. But everybody will be paid to live here. It'll eradicate poverty. It's that easy to eradicate poverty when you have a system that works for everyone, and you don't have conflict because there's no different currencies and no different forex and different values, and you don't have to hoard this shit and keep it in vaults. I mean, it's primitive, exactly. But you understand this. You laugh when you see all this behavior, and you go, no, that's not going to stick around. It's just, especially when you see these young people have got it. They're like, yep, you can do that and do this and link blockchain, and they can route, and there's energy. So all this nonsense of having all this energy and shortage of energy, and these data banks that use all the, all these electricity. See, someone just tells you, no, you don't have to do that. You laugh, you see all these things coming out. So yeah, I don't see this story. We'll wake up. First of all, most will realize that having separate currencies is causing war and different economic things, because we are using then trafficking and people trying to get into your country to earn more money, and we can exploit their country. So we can take all their gold out, because they are there, and in our country it's worth so much more, you see, and we're going to move our companies, all this nonsense of companies moving there to use cheaper labor, to have it made there, then to move their money there, and they moving, all this nonsense. It would eradicate everything, because there would be no need to move anywhere if there was all your currencies was one currency, one finance that doesn't need gold or any nonsense behind it, and it has no separate forex. So $1 is worth $1 in any country in the world. It's not valued less or more. There's no need for separate, all this nonsense. Currency swapping and trading and manipulating, and all these economic wars will be over. So anyway, all that, and that's obvious. You can see that's going to change, and we won't be, you just look. It's fascinating when you see now the program, when they're still in the conscious mind and the programs and the mind, the whole pattern learned thing. You'll actually watch, because everything has a value to it. Look at even humans' life. Watch when someone dies. You see, this is how shows you that the value is over money over life itself. That someone dies now, so you can compensation, or they go to court because whatever, someone did something and they want to sue them now. There's an amount put on that well, okay, we're going to pay you out for the loss of your loved one, and it's worth so much. You see, there's a value put on that life, money. We find something out of space. Oh my gosh, that's going to be worth billions. Someone thumbs up, you see. It's like right at the moment, just to bring to awareness to those conscious ones here, please be aware of even your programs when it comes to crystals, especially those on the awakening path. Because when you first wake up, crystals, you remember the use of a crystal. So everyone now, when they wake up, is running around wanting crystals. All kinds of crystals. Watch, everyone's wearing them and designing them and playing with them, and there's crystals galore. But not being conscious either. Because when you first wake up, you still think that you are separate to the crystal. You see? But then, this is what I say, there's not much, it just comes. So you want to start, it's a tool you use. So now you're going to program the crystal to raise your frequency, or to put in your water to cure. But it's all you're doing. It is your belief and your consciousness. You can use the crystal, because you say so, you put the energy in to amplify it. It's just a tool, you see. But there is no separation. So all you're doing now is encouraging the so-called jewelers, which you'll see now. Diamonds are now becoming, they realize they can't keep that fad up anymore. So now diamonds aren't becoming the things. Every jeweler and everybody out there now is jumping on the crystal bandwagon and mining crystal. Every second Joe Soap is trying to find a mine or mine crystals. And the value, have you noticed, because that's how the program works. You see, now we're going to create a false value. Exactly. We're going to push it up. Because now everybody wants it, you see, demand. We are now going to make a demand for crystals. So the price of crystals has shot up dramatically. And everyone's trying to market now anything as a crystal as valuable and expensive. And look at this aquamarine. I mean, oh, really? So now they're the new diamonds. It's crazy. And you are now just going around encouraging the same system. It's going to go blow up holes and dig up mines and mine. Everyone's mining and digging up the earth. Just no disregard for the earth or the crystals everywhere. They don't need to be above the ground. You need a crystal if you want one. And that crystal can connect to every crystal in and on the earth, because there's no real earth anyway. That is also part of the earth story, it's imagined. So you can activate every crystal in the earth, or to hold that frequency, just by your consciousness. You do not have to have the crystal sitting around you. It's not going to it's your consciousness that does it. So this, got to be aware, those that are waking up, that are causing this drive. You are then going to, those that are unconscious, have you noticed, are all over the media trying to sell everybody now crystals and put the price up and tell you how much they're worth now. I mean, they all thought it's just, the same story like diamonds. Oh my gosh, this is now worth this perfect act. And you're just like, oh my. You see, you're going to start a frenzy again of digging up all these stones, because everybody wants now a crystal bath, a crystal this, a crystal. I mean, it's crazy. Some of the things you've seen out there are extreme again, you see. So now one wants a crystal bath and wants the biggest crystal, because you see, look, I've got a bigger crystal than yours. You are exploiting again. You see, you're again behaving as separate from the earth. You see, you're then wanting to exploit and never mind the earth and harm the earth and dig up holes and blow up and drill and whatever. You see, digging up everything. Same thing, as though it's separate again. You see, you're seeing it separate as a desire from you. Whereas you can have a crystal. You can communicate with them, as you notice anything. You don't have to have it physically there, you see. You don't need the biggest anyway. That's what's happening, and that's what will happen, because there are those in different phases, as I say, different levels. There's lack of reflection. All of it will change as the higher the consciousness goes. When the ego falls, that will be gone anyway, because they won't be seen as anything separate. There's nothing. You'll realize there is nothing out there. There's nothing outside of you. Immediately that comes to an end, all of that sort of story. But at the moment, yeah, it's you see all this and you're like, well, it's okay. So you're watching everybody. So just be aware that you're not driving this frenzy of pushing the value of crystals through the roof, and every second Joe Soap now is going to be digging up the earth and making holes everywhere. And and somebody wants the biggest crystal and the crystal bath, just excess again. You see the human thing? This value is in the mind. It's all imagined. Thumbsucked. See? So we got to rather keep it where the value actually is. It's not sitting on your window, having a crystal grid. That's not really where the value is. A crystal's great, yes, but we don't need, that I think also comes from the Atlanteans were using it, you see. That's where a lot of that does come from, actually, where they were using them, trying to use them as power, exactly. But it's not the crystal, it's your consciousness. That's what I'm saying. Even watch what people are doing. Where's it coming from? You programming the crystal. You are saying and putting that energy into the crystal. The crystal can hold this frequency and vibration and can emanate that. But who is saying it? Who is doing it? It's coming from your mind, your consciousness. You see, you are imagining and creating that as well. The crystal itself is not doing it. The crystal's sitting out there happily. You are the one programming it and giving it the power and energy. Again, you see, it's consciousness. So we're going to just be aware. Yeah. There is nothing separate from us. There's nothing that is separate from you at all. So we got to be a little bit aware of that. It will come. So there's still a thing of separation there where you think, okay, you see, you're giving it the power, your belief, and you're the one who's saying you're creating it all. Absolutely everything. It's like a co-creation. Same with a tree, or same with anything else. So we got to be aware of that. There's nothing wrong with wealth itself, because you'll notice on your awakening journey, you are guided to heal and clear hugely and release all those programs of lack and of limitation. There's nothing here. There's nothing. Everything is imagined, I'm saying. Completely imagined. Whereas life itself will hold value. Where at the moment you'll see everything, money is more valuable than anything else on this planet. It's above life. People, just insane, because they are awake and they're unaware of the power they actually contain. So we have a lot of this, but it can do great good. This is where the transition phase I think we're going through is actually needed. In the right hands, money can do great good to help uplift the rest on the planet while we're going through our phase. Absolutely money. So we don't want absolute poverty, no. Definitely a system that works for everyone. It doesn't encourage separation and war, and as I say, this is the same thing. Separate currencies. Forex is separation again. Your country is now, your thing is worth less because we say so, because you don't have the gold. It's completely nonsense. There's no separate world. Show me where there's a separate world. It's one planet. So, yeah, it's fascinating watching this. Definitely fascinating. But we will see, I think, it being used and not exploited again. It's just patterns. People have to be aware. If you watch this, you'll even aware as it well. All of a sudden, crystals, and everyone's out there wanting to dress like fairies and crystal themselves. You know what I mean? But that's part of it. But it isn't separate. It's source energy. It's still source consciousness. It has consciousness. It's still a rock. You see, it still has something. So we're also going to be aware of exploiting. It's like taking advantage. You say when you're awake, okay, you're taking advantage of an animal. It's still source, right? You ask the animal, you respect the animal, but the same with the rock. You can ask the rock It will actually cooperate with you because you are now co-creating with it. It's you co-creating with yourself. It's just a different frequency and vibration. So yeah, I think we will definitely, you'll see now there's a rise, definitely a change in this one rule for everybody. What's good, what is a rule for us and a rule for them, that will definitely won't be, because it isn't an us and them, you see, there's only source here. So obviously that will change, that a fair system, that's an equal system, that doesn't exploit other countries, that doesn't cause conflict and war and separation and separate, forex manipulation and all that nonsense. It's just, there's not, it's programs. That's all they know, you see. The same thing, the same system, the same value, that gold and everything has a value and it's got this and it's a completely... But no one ever questions their beliefs. And the programs and why we do things. Is it... No, half the stuff, you look at it and you actually realize it's completely ludicrous when you... It's fascinating when you actually look at it all and you think, well... the same thing. They want to roll out now a similar system, but the same thing. Now we want to bring out a digital thing with gold behind it. I mean, it's just unnecessary. But we're keeping the same system. Separate currencies, separate, so-called forex. Separate money again. So this money in your country is called that, and it's not as much as my country. You know what I mean? It's just ludicrous. You laugh at this, actually. So you will laugh at yourself when you wake up. You do laugh when you look out there and you're like, yeah. Because it's not really out there either. And you look at all the silly things we have done, Wow. You do, okay. Because you realize how silly it is when you realize, well, yeah, what's actually here. All of it's completely imagined stories. It's none of it makes sense. None of it's, well... That you're already seeing fairness, the rise of fairness, equality, that will definitely, because that is higher consciousness, the lack of causing suffering to self. But then I say we've also got to be aware that applies to the crystals and the rocks and everything as well, Yes, it's sure nothing wrong with having a crystal, but could you imagine if we all went around doing that, you see? Then we're not thinking of the impact we're having on the planet as well. You see, as a being in its own right. Now we want to go plunder the planet because we need gold to put behind some silly currency, which, it's a man-made, invented, moving money between a computer. What does it need anything behind it? That's just a belief. That's an old system because they can't imagine a system that doesn't need anything behind it. But as that young man I shared, his video was amazing. I listened to that man, I thought, wow, you see, someone can think of it and you're like, yep, why didn't anyone think of that before? Right, it's that easy. It is. That's what I'm saying. It is that easy. But it's consciousness. You see, if they've risen above the mind and the patterns, they're able to tap into that higher consciousness. And there's the answer. There's the solution. Boop, gone. As we will see. So it's all going smoothly. But you are watching all of this and you're like, okay, we just got to watch. Be conscious that we don't swing to the opposite polarity. Because it's nothing, we mustn't, that's awakened, that it's nothing wrong with money because it is you. There's nothing wrong with wealth, but not everybody desires it, needs it, will want it either. It's not in their plan or their path or, it won't even be there because there won't be poverty or suffering. When we level the field properly, there won't be a need. What's driving this desperation and this need is fear. Because in the current system, money is valued above everything else, you see. And above the law gets you, get away with anything. As I say, this whole system is a tiered system, like a pyramid system. And that's where the problem lies. When it's a planet is equal and everyone, it pays you to live on it, when we've eradicated all that nonsense of suffering and let's say poverty, survival, this whole survival nonsense, we do away with that because it's completely unnecessary, absolutely unnecessary. There's no fear because you've got all your needs, free home, everything, all your needs are met for free on the planet. You're living freely on your own planet, your own thing. There is no need. So the only thing that will drive you is your desire or passion to maybe to if you want to build aeroplanes because you love flying, or you see this, and I'm saying we will follow the passion. So those that want to go and play around in space will do that. Those that, like this young man that is great with computers and tech, or blockchain, will do that. Those that love art are going to paint art, but they're going to do it. Why? Not because they need. It's because they have no fear. They won't be in survival. They're not going to want to have to go and rob a bank. They won't. There's none of that, because for it. There's no need. We're going to eradicate a need on the planet. That'll be gone. So wealth will just be, probably also won't be much of a need for it either down the line, but I'm saying, because you realize you can manifest everything. Like, even, as I say, Bashar will even tell you, the art, everything's going to shift. Babies will shift, because we realize it's not a physical action anymore either. That art is made. It's out of energy. Everything is just, it's going to be, it's amazing. I can't wait. When you see the separation fall away, when they know, when the mind just is left alone and it disappears, and the time stops and you find yourself as the one, that is just going to shift everything incredibly. Wow. It's just, and it's shifting already. So many our bodies are waking up, and I mean it. It's on a scale. They're like popcorn, and you saw this in 2023, that there's no me, that there's no person, there's no separation. The separation is falling quickly, people, and what a blessing it's going to be, because everything will shift. Yeah, beautiful. It's so beautiful. Everything will shift. You're already seeing it. You're already seeing the beginning of it, the changes in the mindset, as I say. But those that are, as I say, stuck in their program, they don't know any better. So they think, oh, this is the only way you do economy, and it has to have gold behind it and all that nonsense. What for? I mean, you laugh at it, actually, when you think of it. All that gold sitting in banks and floors and vaults, hoarding the shit, it has no use. Because you got a piece of paper saying that's behind, which is also thumbs up. All value is absolutely imagined. Diamonds are absolutely imagined. As now, they're imagining the value of exactly, it's all imagined. Everything. It's absolutely ludicrous. And when it actually has other more valuable properties, and it can actually be used, you see, or enjoyed. Art, jewelry, medicine, flights, spaceships, gold. I saw it being used in spaceships, in something to do with the engines in spaceships. Gold was used. That was interesting. So it has better uses than sitting in someone's vault, and we're all digging it up, and we've got so much dug up. We don't need to dig up any more. You don't need to have thousands of crystals to do something. It's your belief and consciousness that is doing everything already. So there we are. Who knows? Something I just wanted to share. Why? I have no clue. There was something else that wanted to come through. It was seeing this ludicrousy of this same system wanting to come out, and it's not going to change anything. If you're still going to do separate forexes, separate, as I say, then you're not stopping immigration. You're not stopping this trafficking. You're not stopping countries trying to move and exploit cheap labor, all of this sort of thing with trafficking. Because, exactly, I'm going to get it made for nothing over there and bring it here and sell it for 10 times, you see. This sort of thing is absolute nonsense, as they say. And you can see that all around, all these things. So that whole, and which is so simple to get rid of. One currency, no forex, no different value in any country, one currency, one world, one thing, and one exchange rate. One exchange rate throughout the entire world. Problem solved. And also your poverty. So yeah, we will see, because you'll see that the consciousness is, it starts to see, is exactly, it sees through the programs, and you're actually ludicrous. It's actually funny, actually. Sorry, you will laugh, and you will laugh at yourselves. All of this, that you've imagined all of this, and you will start finding that it's just, yeah. shake your head at the things that humans have done, and and the stories and the beliefs, and wow. So there was that. Please be conscious of your crystal driving the market, and everybody, trying to exploit, which they are, shoving the prices up and mining everywhere for these things now. It's another imagined thing. So we don't, while this awakening is going on, we're not still doing any more. We don't need to mine all these things. Nothing is separate from you. You can, as I said, work with your crystal and communicate with every rock and crystals. You can communicate with the rocks from your own bedroom and ask them. They'll work with you and tell you what you need to know. You see, or ask them to hold the frequency. Ask them, you can activate them all around the world. It's simple. It's all here. All is consciousness. You're imagining it even out there, the world and everything. It's all being, created from within. It's anyway, so I thought I'd share that. I can't remember what else wanted to come through, sorry. It was the economy, wealth, this issue of wealth, we've got to be careful. But that'll also fall away. There'll be an extent, for sure. But there won't be that desire, you see, to have the bigger, whatever, that one also, as separation falls. But it'll only be used, as I say, to enjoy, for pleasure, to what what you want to do with it. And when we don't have any poverty and need or lack, we won't have any of this. We won't have illness, because you eradicate fear and poverty. Illness will go with it, half of its illness, because of the stress, the dense energy, the fear, the survival, the poverty is causing all the stress and illness. So when we alleviate poverty and all that inequality, there's no stress, there's no illness, there's no crime. There'll be almost eradicate most things, actually. Most problems will be gone. And the energy and everything. So there'll be a balanced, healthy planet, a healthy everything. Yeah, wow. It is funny when you, as you go up, it's so easy when you realize how easy it is, and you look at all this insanity that you've been up to, and you're like, it's still the self. You realize it as a story, a laugh. But it is, you can laugh at it. You can look back and think, the things that humans have done, the stories of what we have done on this planet has been like, wow. Very, even that's a story, because it didn't even happen. I mean, it's just, well, so I don't know. But yeah. So just be aware of that, people, okay? Wealth, nothing wrong with it. Especially can be used for great good. And a lot of you, especially those that are consciously waking up now, that are also, have you noticed your manifestations? Because of the shift, you would be guided now. And wealth will move into your hands. A lot of conscious beings will actually come more financially viable or wealth. Why? Because you are going to use it for greater good. When there's a higher consciousness and compassion, you will use the wealth. It's not for a selfish greed or hoard. You're going to use it for great good. You see? So you'll find a lot more conscious beings having a lot more wealth. So that it can have balance, you see, and it can be used for good, because wealth can be used for, especially now, it's actually needed to uplift those, the majority of the planet, actually. Wealth is needed to uplift them, but it's needed exactly to be fair, not to be hoarded by and sitting in a bank by a few. It needs to be, and that can be changed with a simple system. Change a financial system that works and pays people to live here. You know what I mean? Like this young man did. I was like, holy shit, is that simple? Look at someone. Comes up with it. There we are. Here's an idea. Perfect system that, so simple. But, oh, wow. You laugh, and you can see how easy these things will be solved when there's consciousness, when there's ability to get into that higher frequency thoughts and things out of that program, to download that information, to see, get that clarity and idea. Idea is everything. Just higher frequency, higher bandwidth, the information's held. Anyway, for some reason that was shared. I can't think of anything else. The value, as I said, the value is all thumb-sucked. You'll see, it's fascinating. I mean, everything is, this whole idea of crystals, is a completely, it's all created by the mind as well. that it needs something else to benefit it. You're just using, the more consciousnesses you put together, the more power it has. So it doesn't matter if it's a crystal or person or angel you are co-creating with. That's all it is. The power is actually coming from within. There is no other power or separate power, because there's only a source here. The power comes through, but it comes from within. It comes from the source itself, which is you. You see, you are giving something power. You are giving it your power. You are saying that crystal has energy or power. That's all that's happening. You see, that's what you're doing. And I remember this one used to do it. It was programming crystals, one of its crystals to hold peace back then when you first wake up, because you don't know. So this one's peace and that one's healing and whatever else, but it's the same thing. It's all you. You see, nothing. It's not. It doesn't itself have that power. Who gave it that? You did. You say your intent, your belief. There we are. So value, life. When we see all as the self, we all value everything too, you see. Because then we value the rock, the crystal, the stone, the thing. Is not like a difference. Yeah. Anyway. So be aware when you see those programs. Do it on yourself. Make sure that you've got no issues with wealth, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's all a belief. Nothing is evil unless you say it so and fear it or put that thing. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing separate. It's not bad. It doesn't do anything to you. It has no effect. It's what you say, so it's not separate from you. You see, you are saying that's outside source. No, it's not, all within. You see, it's innocent as anything is. Nothing has meaning unless you are giving it that meaning. That's what I'm saying. As humans, we are. It's actually ludicrous to think about how much gold's been hoarded, untouched, where it has much better value and use. Absolutely has no use sitting in a bloody bank, and we're issuing paper. So that's what I'm saying. You could laugh if you can see the ludicrousy of that. We've got this gold which has wonderful properties and pretty. We can do something with the metal, make things out of it. Those days they didn't have value, but they had lots of gold jewelry. Everything was gold because weren't that. So I think they knew the healing properties of it better. So now we've got it all sitting in vaults and banks and everything, hiding the stuff, whatever. And we're putting. So we can put it behind money, a piece of paper. Here we are. My money is worth, this piece of paper is worth so much, or my digital whatever, because I've got all that sitting. It's you can't see any logic to any of this behavior when you actually look at it. And you're like, no. We don't need it. We don't need anything behind it. Especially if we don't have any forex and separate currencies and separate values in separate countries. Then there's no need, you see. There's no barter. There's no, again, separation, no conflict, no divide, no manipulation. You see, you're eliminating so much separation and conflict. Anyway, there we are. Don't think there's anything else. Just please understand, we give value. Everything. Okay, you're imagining it and you are giving value to everything. The crystal, and you can see people are running around immediately trying to exploit that. You see? Where it's a co-creation. It's you. It's not outside of you. Nothing's separate. Feel it. You can feel there's no separation. Separate yourself from the planet, from the earth, from anything. Nope, not possible. You cannot separate yourself from existence. Even when the body drops, you'll find that out. There you are. Exactly the same, just you don't have a body anymore. That's a surprise. Actually a pleasant surprise, and a surprise of note, I must admit. It is quite a surprise when you realize, oh. So there we are. Anyway, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to this great awakening that's happening, and it is definitely happening. Wow, it's amazing. So it's shifting, and it's shifting quick. You can see that. So there we are. Just be patient. For those that don't know, you see, those that aren't awake, that are stuck in their programs, really don't. They've, say, invented this financial system. Why does it looks the same? Not realizing they're going to repeat the same, and they can't understand why the same problems occur. No, the same sort of. We have all these problems on earth. They don't. They're not able to see it because they're not. They're in the program. You see, they can't see a higher solution or higher frequency or higher program because they can't see out of the program. They're not out of the program. They haven't risen above the conscious mind. So they are aware, you see, of the programs and that there are other choices and what they are. So they would see any changes fearful, you see. There's no matrix. It's not. It's all created. You're creating it all. Absolutely. Even the world out there, which is not out there. It's very gonna laugh. Okay, peeps. You will laugh. And lots of love. You laugh at the self. And all it's things it gets up to. All right. But be patient and loving. Understand those that aren't will fear because they don't know any better. They don't know a better. They can't see. That's why. Otherwise, they would have the solutions. They would have been changed. They would have seen. Oh, all right. What we're doing is actually, going in circles. And then we don't realize that we're actually creating the problems ourselves. Always have. Isn't anyone else doing it? All right. So much love and laughter here. Okay. So be aware now of anything that you are, like whether it's a crystal, whatever else out there, you're just co-creating with it. See? All right. You're giving it whatever value or power, anything. All right. That's all perfectly fine. Love, patience, and understanding with others, even those that aren't, Okay. Just be patient. Just sit back. Don't focus on it, for one. And know it will resolve itself. Okay, because there's only one here, and it loves itself. All right, absolutely loves itself. There's only love. So be patient and understanding with no matter what any being is doing and going through, even if it's, anger, fear, whatever else, it doesn't know any better. All right, because it wouldn't do that. It only knows what's here, and if it's in its program, it knows it doesn't know anything besides the mind. Whatever it's been taught, learned, that's all it can actually perceive and see, literally. So we have to have love. Send them light and send them love. That helps. The only thing you can do on this planet is do that. That helps. But by getting angry and fighting and blaming is not going to help, because you're actually adding to the negative energy. It's already surrounded that body. It can't see through the density of all those thoughts. So anybody that's awake here, send light and love to those in density, in anger, in fear, in whatever they're going through, you see. Help to clear that energy around them. Because first of all, that energy is there's no separation. It's in the field, the human story, the human game. So you're adding a light and higher frequency to the earth story, the earth plane, and other beings, you see, which is the self. So it increases the general light and frequency and vibration of the whole dimension, the whole game, the whole story. So only ever send them love, kindness, peace, light. Everybody, no matter, especially those in the most density. Okay. Never point fingers and blame at the moment. You see that going on because those in fear, also when you wake up, as you know, you go through the rabbit holes and the all those sort of things, and you're seeing the shadow. So what you become aware of first is all the darkness and what is wrong. So that's all you're seeing out there, that those are waking up are becoming aware of what's wrong. you see, under shadow. And then they get angry, but they don't realize it's not out there, though, you see. It's the same thing. It's this work that starts coming from within before they realize. You see, they're just another body that's not awake. That's all it is. Okay. Don't think there's anything else that needs to be shared. Who knows what this video was made? No idea. Just wanted to come out. Oh. All right. I say good night in my pajamas, and I send you so much love. So manifest all you want, eh? There's no problem with manifesting it. But the desire to, hoard it wouldn't be there. Use it, yes. At the moment, great use to uplift others. The more we can lift out of their density and poverty, the better, because then they can start to heal. But if they're in survival and poverty, they're not going to start a healing journey because they're too busy trying to survive. So we need to uplift people out of survival, poverty, and fear. Then they can start to heal, start to, get the higher consciousness, and we can lift the whole planet. We cannot just, and raise it. And no, that's holding you down. You need to lift. You see, that holds that. So we got to lift a lot. And those are the ones that in the most poverty and fear and density are the ones that holding the most density are the ones we need to lift up. Because if we bring them out of that, what happens? They can then have they're out of fear and desperation and poverty. Guess what? They can have that time. They can breathe. They don't have to feel they're going to survive and get what they're going to eat tonight. They can start their healing journey. They can start going within, and all those programs they can release and clear. Then they can start helping others. That's how we do it. We help each other. So one help. There's no others here. So the more we can raise out of desperation, poverty, and survival, guess what? They can become constructive, start healing, and so on. There is not, doesn't work like that because there's no separation already. See? It's in the earth story. Consciousness, yes, but in the story, no. All right. I send you so much love, and I laugh at all of this, and I hope you laugh at it too. You see the humor in the self. You see the unconscious behavior because you were part of that. You're going around clubbing each other not too long ago. But that's what I'm saying, you see. But that's why. This is exactly the thing. We have to lift people out of it. You're not going to heal. You're not even in the mind frame where you can heal. If you're in survival and fear, because you are in poverty, you are not even that's not even going to come. There's no space and rest to drop, you see, where they can take that exhale and breathe, feel secure, where they're able to then even think outside of, that's it, they're in such a loop. Then the stress, what does it do? Illness, disease, half the planet. You wouldn't have half the illness even out there. You eradicate all of that. As everyone knows, everything's energy now. The stress, the fear, the density, illness. Big time. Out of alignment. They're in a loop. Yeah. Anyway. Good is there. But that's what I'm saying. That's what happens when you wake up. Automatically it becomes clear. It starts clearing. Everybody on this awakening journey goes through a stage, just look out there, you'll see it, where you start releasing the story that money is evil, because that was passed down from religion and things, and you can't go to heaven if you've got that's also old teachings, that there's even separate, because that's part of separation. So that goes. The whole thing of value, sold and not seen and not heard. This comes from this huge Victorian program. I did a whole thing on it. But yeah, all those, but that is further on in your awakening. First, most of the density is cleared. All beings will realize. But they're not going to, as long as they'll be releasing the most dense things first. What they can do. If you've gone through awakening, you know very well. You go through all of those levels and layers. For a purpose, it's in stages, for a reason, so the body can release density, heal, release density, heal. So it's not overwhelming. There's a lot to heal. Huge. on this planet. And the less harm we do, the better. It's programmed inherit. It's been passed down massively in this population. No matter what religion, same thing. Because that's what you were taught. But misunderstanding, it's just consciousness. All of that nonsense. There is no lack. You see, first of all, there's no separation. All comes with it. Everyone does what they need to do, yeah. And each being's going to have a different also purpose here, different whatever wants to experience. And not everybody wants to do that. Some in their last life were, kings, queens, rich. You go through it all. So it depends not everyone has the same purpose. You see. And if you know this, if you watch how it swings from polarity, so if you've gone through extreme poverty and suffering, guess what? It's going to swing to the opposite polarity. Then some will, you see, they'll get into extreme wealth. But then also, you say, you've got to watch a balance. It'll eventually swing back to the other polarity. So staying in balance is a good thing. Because otherwise you're going to go for one stage of this, and then it's going to stay there. Then you're going to go, this is what it does. You experience all sides. It's just the way the system works. If we have a system that pays you to live on it, as that young man was so easily, it shows you how easy it is to design a system that actually pays you to live on it. So that your basic needs on the planet are met. Water, anything that you need to survive, like life, to sustain life, should be free. Housing, water, food, electricity, the basics in your health, should be free. It will be. This is a higher consciousness planet wouldn't even consider it because you're not separate from the planet in the first place. Why should you pay to be in your own dream? It's sorry, you've got to see the ludicrousy of it. You're paying to live on your own planet, which you are inventing and doing and creating, and it's all co-creation, part of you. It just is stupid. The whole idea is actually completely ludicrous. So that will fall away in the first place. You wouldn't even dream of doing it. So they will know this. There'll be your survival. Your welcome to Earth. You'll be here to enjoy Earth and to create and to, as I say, that's it, create. Whether you're going to make spaceships, whether you're going to heal plants, manifest, whatever, who knows? Just enjoy all the nature, the beauty of... Sorry, I'm playing puzzles again. Right, hurry. I'm dragging puzzle pieces across the page again. Oh, okay. Here we are. So you're going to contribute. You're going to come here and it's not going to be like you want to get the hell out of here. This is what Earth's experience has been like. It was like, no, I want to get out of here. I want to get out. You didn't realize you were doing it. So we created such a thing that everybody wanted to escape from. And it was hard. Nobody, it wasn't pleasant. That's the experience, the Earth experience was. Survival, okay, look at it. Wars, we've just perpetrated all kinds of ridiculous things here. So when we kind of wake up, this will be it. So you're going to enjoy coming to planet Earth because you're not going to, it's going to be a pleasure. You'll grow up here in a community which is civil and conscious and awake, where your needs are all met. And now what do you want to do? That's literally, you're going to grow up and follow your instinct, your passions, and whatever it's going to contribute to society, whether you're going to be, enjoy teaching or fly spaceships or invent something or be a healer or sing to the animals or whatever. It's going to be, this is... Yeah, it's going to be a very different life. Could you imagine? Yeah. You're going to co-create with yourself because there's nothing else here. So whether it's trees or species or, whatever. Yeah, hug trees, exactly. Energy. Everything's going to be energy. We're going to be amazing what we're going to be doing. Yeah, incredible. And going around helping other beings, other planets, a little bit more involved. So yeah, it's just incredible what we're going to be able to do. But no one's going to be like, coming here and, it's just ridiculous. Any of this actually, when you look at what we've actually got up to, you just shake your head. You look at all and you think, did we actually do all of that? Yep. What we haven't imagined. We've gone to some serious density. We dropped in, now we're swinging out to... Yeah. The light of being, where we realize we are, limitless, and it is us. And we are, imagined everything that exists. We're not separate from it either. Yeah. Yeah, it's to say there's beings here. You see, look, there's beings that love music. They have for a long time, and they're talented, thank goodness, because this one isn't. When it comes to music, I love it. So I'm saying, look, this is the co-creation. I am so thankful that beings like music, because definitely